What do you think it was about Take Back that excited producers and financiers?
Well, it definitely helped to have Mickey attached. I also think that in the marketplace now, I think thrillers like that, thriller horror films that have a decent hook to them, that can maybe you get a good attachment cast wise, and that can be made fairly cheap, will definitely help your cause. You want to write something, and obviously minimal locations. I mean, I always think of Saw, which is just brilliant because it actually was a short film, which they then expanded into a feature. But it was really obviously took place mostly in one location. Take Back had multiple locations, but it's a smaller indie action film that was able to be confined to the small town. So I think that definitely helped it. But a film that's got like I would say a budget of between $500,000 and maybe $1.5 million, $2 million. Not a lot of locations, and still, is a solid. You got a solid 85, 90 page script to work from, and again, there's not a huge lot of location changes, and not a huge cast. I think people are, and again, you get a good attachment. Could be anybody who will bring money into these foreign territories and pre-sell the film. You're going to be in good shape. Easier said than done, yes, but definitely it's not impossible. And I will say real quick, I think based on what we were talking, you made an excellent point before when we were talking off camera about you have these sort of the huge studio budget films that are like 300 million, and then you have these smaller budgets like Take Back, etc., that are going anywhere between $500,000 to low seven figures. There's really not a lot in between that's happening, unless maybe you're at Netflix or Amazon. But the studios are generally, they're trying to hit it out of the park every time within these huge budgets, and the smaller films are being made in the way Take Back is, with foreign financiers. Or it's not all foreign financiers. There was a mix, but definitely different conglomeration of different producers and financiers and production companies. And then but the in between, the 30, 40, 50, $60 million films, they're not really being made as much, unless again there's a major actor attached and they are doing it maybe independently of the studio. But I'm sure they exist, but it's like we talked about before, it seems like there is this big gap between what's the reality and of what's happening now with as far as movies being made.
How did you get Mickey Rourke attached so early?
That was all Mike Hatton, the producer. He had I believe he knew Mickey's agent or manager and was able to get it to him that way, I believe, or he had a connection somehow and was able to get Mickey the script, and Mickey signed on pretty quickly. They signed on very quickly. James Russo had already been attached. So, and James and Mickey, I believe, knew each other too. That may have helped a little bit, but I think, Mickey was the big get, and that was again done through Mike's a mutual acquaintance of Mike Hatton's.
Why didn't Mickey Rourke leave the project?
Because we paid him a lot of money.
Well, I know that the project was sort of in flux.
It was
for a while. Okay,
we had him there, and he, to his credit, he stayed. He was staying part. He wanted to be involved. His character is also takes care of. He runs an animal a no-kill dog shelter in the film. That's his character. What his character does. And Mickey, as we know, is a big. He's, I think, a PETA spokesperson. So, it had a lot of elements that I think he appreciated, and that kept him there for a bit. And the fact that we paid him a lot of effing money to be in it, that definitely helped. That definitely helped.
What kind of conversations did you have with Mickey Rourke about the script and his character?
I didn't have any conversations with him. The script, so this was an interesting one because there was no, I was paid, but it wasn't as a spec, and it was not a work for hire. I was paid as a portion of the budget. So basically, once I turned in my pre-production draft, the director, Christian, and the actors kind of took it from there. I really didn't have a lot of, didn't have any involvement in the pre-production planning or, discussion. My role was fulfilled I fulfilled my role as a writer, and that was how it went. So they made changes to the script, and again, it was their script to make changes to, because I had been compensated, and I think it'll turn out well, with what they come up with. I'm optimistic. But it was, but I met Gillian and Michael Jai White on set. I had met James Russo a few years earlier when we were sort of getting in the, we were in the infant stages of getting the film up and going. But I unfortunately did not meet Mickey or speak to him. He had more direct conversation with Christian, the director, and Mike, the producer.
How did you get the producer, Mike Hatton, on board?
So the gentleman who was the lead producer initially, he was in the market for finding a director. He found Christian. Christian worked with Mike Hatton, and they were producing partners. Mike was still acting. He was, at that point, he was in Green Book, and he's still in a bunch of films prior and after Green Book. But Mike and Christian really took to the material, and because Mike was Christian's producing partner, they came and were both involved in the process from then on. And Mike, I can't say enough good things about him. Mike, his energy, his support, and again, enthusiasm, and Chris's too. But Mike's like the Energizer Bunny. He's go, go, go. And I can appreciate that about him. He's a hustler. And you need somebody like that, I think, especially navigating in the indie world, even in a studio film world, to have a guy like that on your side who's hustling, who's trying to get things done and doing 300 things at once and getting them done well, efficiently. I hope to make more films with Mike down the line. I really do. But we'll see. He's working on 3 things at once, literally. They just finished 2 more films since Take Back, and with really good casts. So he's always got something going on, as does Chris.